This morning, we came before the judge on a hearing that was fixed over 2 months ago to hear our applications to strike out the claim. At the very end of last week, the claimants suddenly served a notice to discontinue the proceedings. They gave no explanation, they gave no apology, and they failed to comply with the court's orders to serve evidence and to serve submissions. So we were ready this morning to deal with that, to deal with our original motion, and also to deal with a new motion that we'd brought saying they weren't entitled to discontinue the claim in that way. They weren't entitled to sidestep the court's jurisdiction by the simple expedient of serving a notice of discontinuance. I think it's important to understand, and I'm not sure this was known until I mentioned it in court, that on Monday of this week, having received this notice of discontinuance, the Attorney General's chambers wrote to the claimant's solicitors saying, will you please agree that your case can be dismissed, that the court can make the declarations that we sought, that it didn't have jurisdiction to deal with this sort of claim. And the importance of that is it would have made it clear that the claimants couldn't just start this whole process all over again. They didn't respond to that letter, didn't even acknowledge that letter. So we don't know what their plan is, particularly as they've produced a new notice of motion, which is very hard to see the difference between that one and the old one. So the defendants, the government, deserves to be protected against the sort of device by which this claim is stopped, but yet another claim can be started all over again. That's what we wanted the court to deal with, and it could have been dealt with very easily by the defendant simply responding properly to the letter we'd sent. They chose not to do so, instead of which they turned up and they weren't ready to argue the case. They asked for an adjournment. Not right to deny them that adjournment, because these are important matters, and if they need time to deal with them, they should have that time. So we're now in the situation that the judge has said, in response to their application, yes, it can be adjourned until a later date, and we'll now have to set a date for that next hearing. And in the meantime, he set directions saying when they've got to serve evidence, when they've got to serve the submissions, and we serve submissions, so the matter can properly be determined by the court.